Ladies and gentlemen, students of life and seekers of success, today I invite you to take a journey, not to some far-off land, not into the pages of a book, but into the mirror of your own life. Because the moment you truly meet the most important living person, everything changes. Who is this person? It's not a president, a billionaire, or a celebrity. It's not your mentor or even your greatest role model. The most important living person you'll ever encounter is you. Yes, you, with your untapped potential. You with dreams waiting to be awakened. You with the ability to shape nations, industries, families, and most importantly, yourself. You see, every human achievement ever recorded was once just a thought in the mind of a person no more special than you. What separates those who do from those who don't is one simple truth: awareness of power within. Most people spend their lives waiting for someone else to believe in them. But the wise, the truly successful, understand that belief is not something you wait for. It is something you build. You have within you the ability to rise above excuses, above fear, above doubt. But that potential only activates the moment you take full ownership of your life, your choices, your habits, your mindset. From this point forward, your job is not to admire others who've succeeded, but to study them, learn from them, and then become greater. The world will not hand you power. It will not deliver success to your doorstep, but it will respond to the one who demands it, not with arrogance, but with absolute clarity and confidence. And that power comes when you finally understand you are not just someone trying to survive. You are someone born to thrive. So I challenge you today to meet yourself. Truly meet the person who wakes up every day and breathes possibility. Confront your weaknesses. Embrace your strengths. Declare war on procrastination, laziness, and self-doubt. And build a mind so powerful that failure dares not come near it. The greatest revolution begins not in the streets, but in your own thoughts. The greatest leader you'll ever follow is the one inside your own heart. And the most important living person, the one who can and will change your life, is the one reading these words right now. Now rise up, because your future is watching, and it's waiting to follow you. You are the architect of your destiny. No one else can build it for you. This truth, though simple in form, carries the entire weight of your future. From the moment you become conscious of your ability to think, choose, and act, you are handed the most sacred responsibility any human can bear: the responsibility for your own life. Far too many people move through the world as passengers, waiting for life to deliver something better, waiting for the right opportunity, the right people, or the right moment. But life doesn't respond to waiting. It responds to movement, to direction, to vision. When a builder sets out to construct a building, he begins with a blueprint. He visualizes the final structure before a single brick is laid. In the same way, your thoughts are the blueprints of your destiny. Every belief you accept, every word you speak to yourself, and every decision you make is a piece of the structure you're building. Some people unknowingly build prisons for themselves. Walls made of fear, ceilings made of doubt, floors made of failure and regret. And then they wonder why they feel trapped. But you must understand this: those walls can be torn down the moment you decide to build something better. Your mind is the most powerful construction site in existence. Every thought you think either moves you forward or holds you back. When you adopt this mindset, something profound happens. You stop blaming others. You stop pointing fingers. You stop waiting. You begin to ask the right questions. What do I want to build? Who do I need to become to build it? What kind of habits will reinforce my structure, and which ones will weaken it? People will try to impose their designs on you. Society, family, media, they all have blueprints they'd like you to follow. But if you live your life according to someone else's plan, you may achieve success in their eyes, but never fulfillment in your own. To be the true architect of your destiny, you must design a life that reflects your deepest values and boldest aspirations. This doesn't mean the path will be easy. Architects face storms. They face collapsed structures and flawed designs. But they learn, adjust, and continue building. You must do the same. Self-discipline is your tool. Clarity is your compass. And purpose is your foundation. The moment you begin acting as the master of your fate is the moment your life begins to shift. Opportunities that once seemed distant begin to draw closer. People begin to respect the direction you're taking. Challenges become stepping stones, not obstacles. All because you finally accepted what was true all along. Your life is not a product of chance, but of choice. There will be days when it's tempting to hand over the blueprint to someone else, to let doubt or laziness draw your next move. Resist that temptation. Stand guard at the gate of your thoughts. Build with intention. And remember, no architect builds a masterpiece in a single day. Greatness takes time, patience, and relentless persistence. But it begins with a decision to stop living as a passenger and to take the wheel. You don't need permission to begin. You only need a vision strong enough to drive you through the moments of uncertainty. If the structure of your life doesn't yet reflect your dreams, it's not because you're incapable. It's because you haven't yet designed it with full belief. So start now. Pick up the pen, draft your vision, lay the first brick. Because no one, absolutely no one, will build your destiny for you. That job belongs to you, and you were born for it. Every great achievement begins with a single, deliberate thought. That thought may be quiet, almost invisible to the world, but within it lies the seed of transformation. Most people underestimate the power of a single thought. They dismiss it as fleeting, as insignificant. But thought is where all creation begins. Before a skyscraper touches the clouds, it exists as an idea in the mind of an architect. Before a book inspires millions, it exists as a sentence in the mind of a writer. Before an empire is built, it begins with the simple question, what if? That first thought, when held with belief and followed with action, has the power to reshape reality. But here's what makes the difference: it must be deliberate. A scattered mind produces scattered results. A weak thought fades with distraction. But a deliberate thought, rooted in desire, backed by faith, and sustained with purpose, becomes magnetic. It begins to pull resources, people, and opportunities into its orbit. It starts to influence how you speak, how you behave, what you focus on, and what you allow into your life. Too often, people expect change to come from outside. They wait for better circumstances, better luck, or someone to come rescue them. But achievement doesn't begin on the outside. It begins with inner clarity, a moment when you decide, I will change this. That decision, that concentrated thought, becomes the axis around which your new life starts to turn. Thought alone is not enough, of course. A thought must evolve into action. But action without thought is directionless. You must know why you are doing what you are doing. You must think in terms of vision. Where do you want to go? Who do you want to become? What do you want to contribute? The moment you hold those questions long enough in your mind, the answers begin to reveal themselves, not all at once, but in pieces, like a blueprint unfolding. History is full of ordinary men and women who had one powerful thought that they refused to let go of. That thought woke them up in the morning and kept them up at night. It shaped their priorities. It dictated what they said no to. It guided them through failure. And eventually, that single, deliberate thought became the foundation of their legacy. You already have thoughts every day. Thousands of them. But how many of those are worthy of your energy? How many are pushing you forward versus holding you back? Achievement is not reserved for the gifted. It is reserved for the focused, the person who disciplines their mind to concentrate on one aim, one mission, one clearly defined goal, is the person who rewrites their own future. They may stumble, they may fail, but they never lose sight of the original thought that started it all. Train yourself to think deliberately. Choose your thoughts like you choose your clothes, with intention. Start your day by planting one powerful idea in your mind and returning to it throughout the day. Let it shape your actions. Let it burn in your heart until it demands expression through your work, your words, and your decisions. Achievement does not happen by accident. It is summoned by a mind that dares to think deeply and persistently. So remember this truth: everything that has ever mattered in the world, every innovation, every revolution, every act of greatness, began with a thought. One single deliberate thought. You have that power too. Don't waste it. Use it. Build something with it, because your future is waiting for you to think it into existence. The most powerful individual alive is the one who has mastered their own mind. Not the wealthiest, not the loudest, not even the most talented. True power belongs to the individual who can control the direction of their thoughts, the intensity of their emotions, and the discipline of their actions. Most people spend their lives reacting. They react to situations, to people, to fear, to failure. Their minds are like ships without rudders, drifting wherever the current of life takes them. But the one who has learned to govern their mind becomes the captain of their fate. They steer, they choose, and they command. Mastery of the mind is not a gift. It is a skill earned through awareness, repetition, and discipline. It begins with observation. The person who notices their thoughts is already ahead of the one who is ruled by them. You cannot change what you are unwilling to observe. So, begin by listening to yourself. What do you say in moments of silence? What stories do you tell yourself when no one is around? The mind is constantly speaking, and the words it whispers become the world you live in. When you master your mind, you understand that external circumstances are never more powerful than internal resolve. The world may try to shake you, distract you, even break you. But the person who has command over their mind remains centered, intentional, and undeterred. They don't respond with panic, they respond with purpose. They don't allow fear to dictate their direction. They use fear as a compass, pointing them toward growth. They don't quit when failure visits. They adjust and keep moving because their mission is clear. Mastering the mind also means mastering focus. The modern world is designed to fragment your attention. Notifications, headlines, opinions, they all pull at your energy. But the powerful individual has trained their mind to ignore the noise and focus only on what moves them forward. They understand that energy flows where attention goes. If you waste your focus on what you cannot control, you weaken your ability to change what you can. But when your mind is anchored to a clear vision, you become unstoppable. Emotional control is another mark of mental mastery. It's not about suppressing emotions, it's about understanding them. Fear is a signal, anger is a message, sadness is a teacher. But none of them are meant to drive the car. The powerful person acknowledges emotions, but doesn't let them rule decisions. They feel deeply, but they act wisely. They don't let a bad day destroy a good habit. They don't let criticism poison their self-worth. They are driven by vision, not by moods. Discipline is the final key. You may have big dreams, even a powerful mind, but without discipline, you will drift. Mastery means doing what must be done even when you don't feel like it. It means showing up, pushing through resistance, and keeping promises to yourself. Discipline is freedom. The undisciplined are slaves to mood and impulse. But the disciplined mind is a mind that builds legacies. If you want to be powerful, don't seek control over others. Seek control over yourself. Don't try to dominate the world. Learn to dominate your thoughts. Everything you want, peace, success, strength, clarity, begins in the mind. And the moment you take full responsibility for it, the moment you commit to training it, disciplining it, and shaping it, is the moment you stop being a prisoner of life and become its master. That is real power. And it's already within you, waiting to be claimed. The only person who can limit your future is the one staring back at you in the mirror. Not your past, not your environment, not even your critics, you. This truth is both sobering and empowering because it places the responsibility exactly where it belongs, in your hands. Many people go through life shackled by invisible chains. They tell themselves stories like, "I'm not smart enough. I wasn't born in the right place. I didn't have supportive parents." Or, "I failed too many times." These are not facts. These are mental scripts written by fear, self-doubt, and years of external conditioning. The only reason they have power is because you allow them to. The reality is this: every great achiever in history faced limitations. Some were born into poverty. Some lacked formal education. Some were told they would never amount to anything. But they refused to let those conditions define their ceiling. They broke through because they decided not to be the obstacle in their own journey. You have that same power. Right now, in this moment, you can choose to rewrite the narrative. You can choose to stop being your own enemy and start becoming your greatest ally. The first step is awareness. You must become conscious of the beliefs you carry. Are they empowering or limiting? Do they move you forward or keep you stuck? Thoughts like, "I always fail," or "I'm not good enough," are not observations, they are chains. And every time you repeat them, you reinforce the walls of a prison that only you can unlock. The person who limits their own potential through negative thinking is more dangerous to themselves than any outside force ever could be. But once you recognize that these beliefs are learned, not truths, you can challenge them. You can begin replacing "I can't" with "How can I?" You can turn "I'm not ready" into "I'm preparing myself daily." You can stop asking for permission and start giving yourself the authority to grow, to evolve, to lead. That shift alone can change everything. People often talk about fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of criticism. But what they don't talk about enough is the fear of potential. The fear of becoming something greater than you've ever been. Why? Because it requires letting go of who you've always been. And that's uncomfortable. But growth never comes from comfort. It comes from the decision to outgrow your old self, to outgrow the limitations you've accepted, and to walk boldly toward a version of you that is unfamiliar but far more powerful. The truth is, your potential doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't shrink just because you've decided to play small. It waits, patiently, until you're ready to rise and claim it. Every time you hold yourself back, you're not protecting yourself. You're robbing yourself. Robbing yourself of the life you could be living, the impact you could be making, and the person you could be becoming. You must make a decision today. A decision to stop letting your inner critic run your life. A decision to stop lowering your standards to match your fears. A decision to act even when you're uncertain, because your future doesn't depend on your current circumstances. It depends on your mindset, your actions, and your willingness to break your own limitations. You are not here to be average. You are not here to settle. You are not here to echo the doubts of others. You are here to rise, to lead, to create. And that process begins when you stop being your own obstacle and start being your own answer. No one is stopping you but you. And the moment you realize that is the moment you finally become unstoppable. Every individual possesses a burning desire deep within, a spark that, when fanned, can become a fire so fierce it reshapes their entire existence. But the tragedy is, most people never light that fire. They bury their desire under layers of doubt, societal expectations, and routine. They trade their deepest aspirations for comfort. But the truth remains, desire is the seed of achievement. Every monumental accomplishment began as a simple, persistent one in the mind of someone who refused to let it go. That's how dreams are built, not by chance, not by luck, but by a desire so strong it becomes a dominating obsession. Desire isn't merely wishful thinking. It's not hoping, and it's not waiting. It is demanding from yourself the results that align with your inner vision. It's waking up every day with a sense of urgency and clarity. When you want something with your whole being, when it consumes your thoughts and drives your actions, you begin to summon the energy, people, and opportunities that move you toward that goal. You start seeing what others overlook. You act where others hesitate. You endure where others quit. But for desire to take root, it must be specific. You cannot hit a target you cannot see. Saying, "I want success," is not enough. What does success look like? What does it feel like? What are you willing to give to attain it? Vague goals produce vague results. But a clear, burning desire becomes your compass, your fuel, your foundation. Once you define it, you must guard it, because the world will test it. People will try to talk you out of it. Circumstances will challenge your belief in it. You may even doubt yourself along the way. But if your desire is strong enough, no setback will be final, and no obstacle will be permanent. Desire also demands action. You can't just want it, you must work for it. You must make sacrifices. You must do what others won't. It may require early mornings, late nights, and relentless persistence. It may mean being misunderstood, underestimated, or even ridiculed. But that is the price of greatness. The person who is truly driven by desire embraces the struggle, because they understand that the struggle is not the enemy. It is the path. There's a reason most people remain average. It's not because they lack talent or intelligence. It's because they lack a desire that refuses to be silenced. They settle for what's available instead of fighting for what's possible. They compromise when they should commit. They wait for motivation when they should build discipline. But those who achieve, those who transform their lives and inspire others, are the ones who carry a flame inside that never goes out. The good news is that you already have this desire within you. It may be quiet. It may have been ignored for years, but it's there. It shows up when you daydream. It whispers in moments of stillness. It flares up when you see someone else living a life you know you were meant to live. That's not envy. That's your deeper self reminding you that more is possible. Listen to it. Feed it, act on it. Decide what you want, not what others think you should want, not what seems safe, but what truly sets your soul on fire. And once you've found it, commit to it with everything you've got. Because a burning desire, backed by faith, clarity, and effort, is the most powerful force you will ever know. It will change your life, and through your life, it can change the world. The most powerful force you will ever encounter is not outside of you. It is the imagination within you. This invisible faculty, often underestimated, is the workshop of the mind where all success is first built. Every invention, every movement, every revolution, every business empire began in the realm of imagination. Before a single brick was laid or a single action taken, someone imagined it. They saw the unseen, They believed in something before there was any proof of its existence. That is the power you hold right now. You have within you the ability to create a world far greater than the one you currently see. But to do that, you must stop being a prisoner of current circumstances and start becoming the architect of new realities. Imagination is not just about fantasy or daydreaming. It's a mental blueprint. It's your mind rehearsing success before the world catches up. The problem is, most people don't use this tool deliberately. Instead of imagining success, they imagine failure. Instead of picturing opportunity, they dwell on limitation. They replay negative outcomes, predict worst-case scenarios, and visualize rejection or defeat. But the mind is neutral. It will build whatever picture you feed it. So, if you constantly supply it with images of fear and lack, it will obediently produce those results in your life. But if you dare to envision greatness, to see yourself already living the life you desire, the mind begins to align with that image and seeks out ways to make it real. Think about this. The greatest breakthroughs in history were created by people who saw what others could not. The light bulb, the airplane, the smartphone, the internet, all of these were laughed at before they were real. They were called foolish, impossible, even insane. But the people who made them happen refused to limit their thinking to what was already known. They used the power of imagination to create a bridge from vision to reality, and you can do the same. Your dreams, your goals, your next chapter all begin with your ability to see them clearly in your mind first. To activate your imagination, begin by setting aside time each day to visualize your goals as if they are already achieved. Picture yourself living in that home, leading that business, changing those lives, speaking on that stage, or achieving that health transformation. Add emotion, detail, and clarity to your vision. Feel the joy, confidence, and freedom as if it's already yours. This is not delusion. This is programming. You are instructing your subconscious mind to believe it's possible. And what the subconscious mind believes, it begins to act on automatically. Most people are stuck not because they lack talent or ambition, but because they lack vision. They cannot see themselves beyond their current situation, so they never escape it. But once you unlock your imagination and give it direction, you give yourself permission to grow beyond limits. You begin to act differently, speak differently, and move with more certainty. And slowly, the world begins to mirror the image you have been carrying inside. Never forget your imagination is your preview of life's coming attractions. If you want a different life, start painting a different picture. Make your inner world more vivid, more alive, and more aligned with who you truly want to become. It doesn't matter where you started or what your background is. What matters is what you're willing to believe is possible, and imagination is the first step toward believing. When you combine imagination with desire, belief, and action, there is no limit to what you can achieve. You are not limited by reality. You are limited by what you dare to imagine.